Dear students, now we are moving to the next topics, and that is bacterial diseases, viral diseases, as well as fungal and protozoan diseases. So we are starting here with bacterial diseases. What are bacterial diseases? The diseases which is caused by bacteria is called bacterial diseases, and there are a number of bacteria are found in our human bodies, and a variety of those which do not cause any infections, and hence they are called a good bacteria. For example, some intestinal bacteria which is dwelling in our intestine, which is helping for the digestion of certain kinds of food. They are called a good bacteria. But unlike that, there are certain bacteria are also found. They are generally concerned with causing certain kinds of diseases in humans. They are called a harmful bacteria. This is an end list of the bacterial diseases in humans. That is the bacterial disease and the concerned causative agent. For example, tuberculosis, pulmonary tuberculosis, which is caused by Mycobacterium tuberculosis, diphtheria caused by Corynebacterium diphtheriae, cholera is caused by Vibrio cholerae, leprosy caused by Mycobacterium leprae, pertussis by Bordetella pertussis, tetanus by Clostridium tetani, plague Yersinia pestis, gonorrhea, that is Neisseria gonorrhoeae, syphilis, that is Treponema pallidum, and salmonellosis by means of the Salmonella enteritis. What about the symptoms of bacterial disease? The bacteria can enter in the humans by a variety of sources, from various sources, and thereby causing the diseases. The main sources includes contaminated food and water, having sexual contact with an infected person, sharing the contaminated needles or needles for tattooing, then through infected fecuses or body fluids like blood, fluids, etc. So these are the ways by which the bacteria can enter into the human body. Actually, the bacteria will produce as pathogenic, mainly pathogenicity means the bacteria that causes diseases. So the toxins of pathogenic bacteria are generally classified into three main types. Actually, this pathogenic bacteria will produce toxins and damage host cells. These toxins are transported either by blood or by lymph, and thereby causing cytotoxic effect. Cytotoxic means it will cause the lysis of cell. And just I told you, the bacterial toxins are generally classified into three different types. They are exotoxins, enterotoxins, and endotoxins. Exotoxins. The exotoxins are those toxins which is produced by the pathogenic bacterial cell, and it gets released into the surroundings. That is called exotoxins. Exo means outer or surroundings. The bacteria will produce toxins into the surroundings. Then enterotoxins. These are the exotoxin which is released by the pathogenic bacteria, mainly in the gastrointestinal tract. For example, Vibrio cholerae, that will generally causes the loss of intestinal fluids. So these are called the enterotoxin. Actually, these are exotoxin, but it is mainly but the region or the location it generally releases its content or toxin is gastrointestinal tract. For example, Vibrio cholerae is one of the bacteria which causes cholerae. This particular pathogen will releases its toxin mainly into the intestine, so that it will causes the loss of intestinal fluid, thereby causing the diarrhea or cholera. Then endotoxin. Here the cells which is associated with the substance of pathogens which are not getting secreted but are released by the rupturing of the bacterial cell. Here what happens is that here the toxin is generally found inside the cell, and it will be released by means of the rupturing, or the loss of or the breakage of the plasma membrane. Plasma membrane is a membrane which is surrounding the cell. Whenever this membrane is getting shaken or it is getting disrupted, this particular toxin is getting released. For example, lipopolysaccharide component of the outer membrane of gram-negative bacteria. Lipopolysaccharide means it is a chemical substance which is generally found on the outer plasma membrane or outer region of the gram-negative bacteria. For example, typhoid and paratyphoid are those kinds of gram-negative bacteria. So whenever they releases the lipopolysaccharide components, it will in turn causes this lipopolysaccharide components can be attributed as an endotoxin. Okay. What about the nature of this toxin? The mode of action of these toxins are cytotoxic as well as neurotoxic. Cytotoxic means this toxic can lysis or can destruct the cells, and neurotoxic means it can affect. These toxins are able to affect on the neural system or the nervous system, brain, spinal cord, and associated nerves. So both in the cytotoxic as well as the neurotoxic ways, the bacterial toxins are able to act. Then what about the symptoms of this bacterial diseases? Whenever a person is attacked by a bacteria, what are the major symptoms it generally exhibits? It generally includes the bloody and painful urine, irritability, then diarrhea, vomiting and nausea, then weakness, stiffness in the neck, flu-like symptoms, then rashes and lesions on the body. So whenever a person is having this much kind of common symptoms, we can say that this person is maybe having this kinds of bacterial infections. And this chart is generally showing the disease, the causative organisms, and the symptoms of various bacterial disease. The first one is called the pneumonia, and this is generally affecting on these kinds of up to this whooping cough. This particular causative organisms are generally making effect on the respiratory tract. That is pneumonia, pharyngitis or sore throat, diphtheria, tuberculosis, and whooping cough. All these kinds of organisms generally can causes respiratory tract, or it can causes effect on respiratory tract. The first one is called the pneumonia. Pneumonia is caused by the causative organism that is called Streptococcus pneumoniae. What about the action is that it affected the respiratory tract and lungs and causing inflammation. Respiratory tract is nothing but നമ്മൾ പറയില്ലേ ശ്വാസനാളത്തിൻ്റെ ആ പോർഷനാണ് നമ്മൾ റെസ്പിറേറ്ററി ട്രാക്ട് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. ഇതിനെ എഫക്റ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്ന ബാക്ടീരിയയാണ് സ്ട്രെപ്റ്റോകോക്കസ് ന്യൂമോണിയെ, ആൻഡ് ദിസ് വിൽ കോസസ് ഡിസീസ് ന്യൂമോണിയ. ദെൻ pharyngitis or sore throat. This is caused by the bacteria Streptococcus pyogenes. It releases certain toxins known as streptolysins, which affect the mucous membrane and also cause hemolysis. Mucous membrane means it will affect on the membrane which is found on the nose, and it will in turn causes hemolysis. Hemolysis means the destruction of RBC cells. So it will causes this disease and causes a disease sore throat or pharyngitis. Then called a diphtheria toxin. Diphtheria is caused by the bacterium Corynebacterium diphtheriae, and it generally causes a block in the respiratory passage, so that the death may be occurs both from damaged cells and by means of suffocation. By means of this action, death may be happen. Then tuberculosis. Tuberculosis is caused by the organism Mycobacterium tuberculosis. It is slowly progressive disease which is affecting the lungs, other organs, and also sometimes affected. Spread of the disease is very chronic, involving the destruction of lung tissues followed by partial healing. So this is called tuberculosis. Okay. Then the next one is called a whooping cough. Whooping cough is also called pertussis. This is caused by the bacteria Bordetella pertussis. It attaches mainly affecting the children. It attaches the cells of the upper respiratory tract and produces an exotoxin which damages the host cell, and it will causes in a spasmodic cough, mainly on the that is a whooping cough will be produced by this person, and we can make resistant to this particular disease in children by administering the vaccine that is called a DPT. DPT is the diphtheria, pertussis, tetanus vaccines. The next one is called meningitis. Meningitis is caused by the bacteria Neisseria meningitidis, Haemophilus influenzae, as well as Streptococcus pneumoniae. This meningitis is also a respiratory tract disease. It will causes the inflammation of the brain as well as spinal cord. That means it generally affects the membrane, the meningeus membrane of the nervous system, and it in turn causes respiratory illness, sore throat, headache, confusions, stiffness in the neck as well as the back, etc. So these are the diseases which is mainly caused by the bacteria in the upper respiratory tract. Then comes the infections on the gastrointestinal tract. This generally includes typhoid, paratyphoid, diarrhea, plague, cholera, tetanus, and anthrax. So this typhoid is caused by the bacteria Salmonella typhi. It will progressively moderate. It generally causes a fever, headache, and weakness are the typical symptom of this particular disease. And by means of this disease, we can spot certain symptoms like red rose spots appears on the abdomen as well as diarrhea will be occurring. In severe cases, intestinal perforations as well as interformis perforation means intestinal holes. In the intestinal holes can be formed and hemorrhage will be the result. Then paratyphoid. Paratyphoid is caused by the organism Salmonella paratyphi. This disease is somewhat similar to that of the typhoid fever, but the symptoms are much milder and the duration in the body is very much shorter. Similar to typhoid, but it is milder. The typhoid is chronic. And fever and abscesses on the infected site generally causes septicemia. Then causes diarrhea. Diarrhea is generally caused by the organisms Salmonella, and it then causes the disease viral diarrhea. Then diarrhea as well as dysentery. Dysentery is also caused by Shigella dysenteriae. It causes necrosis or the destruction of the mucous membrane, which in turn causes superficial ulceration and in turn leads to diarrhea. Then plague. It is caused by Yersinia pestis, enlargement of the lymph glands, and in turn causes vomiting as well as diarrhea. Then cholera. Cholera is caused by the bacteria Vibrio cholerae, which in turn causes onset of nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, and abdominal pain. Then tetanus. Tetanus is caused by the bacteria Clostridium tetani. This is mainly affecting on the muscular system. The muscular spasms are occurs generally due to the inhibition of this muscle movement. Muscles can in this affected area are gradually becomes blocked. The locking of jaws, pains, and blocking the respirations are the main symptoms which is caused by this Clostridium tetani, causing the disease tetanus. Then gonorrhea. Gonorrhea is caused by the organism Neisseria gonorrhoeae, which is generally characterized by the by having a painful symptoms which is mainly appears in males due to the infections of the urethral gland. Urethral canal means this is a region which is generally found associated with the male reproductive part, and vaginal infections are also causes in females, thereby causing mild symptoms. Then syphilis. Syphilis is caused by Treponema pallidum. It forms lesions at the intestinal site of infections. It will able to spread on all different part of the body like mucous membrane, eye joints, and the central nervous system. Then anthrax caused by Bacillus anthrax. It generally causes ulceration of the skin, occurs, headache, nausea, and vomiting are the common symptoms. Then leprosy. It is caused by the Mycobacterium leprae. Skin eruptions having few centimeters in diameter. That is, it generally causes facial abnormalities, fingers, etc. That is called as leprosy. So that's all about the bacterial diseases. I hope you understood. If you have any doubt, please do in the comment section. So actually, we can divide this whole bacterial disease into three different categories. That is, infections, bacteria that is causing infections on the respiratory tract. That includes pneumonia. That generally includes up to pneumonia and up to meningitis, and this typhoid, paratyphoid, and this up to this tetanus. Up to this tetanus, these are the bacterial disease which is mainly caused at the gastrointestinal infections on the gastrointestinal tract. That means affecting on the gastric system. Then it also, the bacterial disease then causes diseases on the urinogenital tract also. This includes this from this gonorrhea and to leprosy. It generally gonorrhea and syphilis are the diseases which is caused in the urinogenital tract, and leprosy and anthrax are the diseases which is caused by the bacteria mainly in the skin. Okay, thank you.